Ireland Indigenous, and welcome to this production of Support Coach Television. Today's episode, a collection of Aesop's Fables, full text. For this video presentation, we will remind you that the same video will be utilized for the first, second, and third reads. Each time, you will change your focus. The first read, or the orange boxes, is the focus on paraphrasing. The second read is a focus on the narrator's point of view. And the third read is a focus on evaluating the stories critically. There are 4 different stories as part of this. So when you see the bolded, slightly larger text, that'll tell you it's in a new story. The Fox and the Goat. A fox was out for a walk one day when he fell into a well that was so deep he could find no quick way to climb out. As he was pondering his situation, a thirsty goat happened upon the well. He looked into the well and saw the fox at the bottom. "How is the water?" asked the goat. "I am very thirsty, and it looks quite refreshing. You must feel very contented to be down there." The clever fox thought quickly. "Ah, yes, it is wonderful to be down here with all this cool, clean water. I've been drinking and drinking, and I no longer have that terrible feeling of thirst I had when I arrived." Without thinking of how he would get out of the well, the goat jumped in and began sucking up as much water as he could. After a few minutes, he took a break from drinking and lifted his head. "Goat," said the fox, "as you can see, we are stuck down here, but I think I have figured a way out that we can both get out." Fox continued, "If you stand up on your hind legs and put your front legs on the wall, I can climb up your back. I will stand on your head to reach the top of the wall, and then I can pull myself over. Once I am out, I will gladly help you get out." The goat agreed at once and positioned himself with his front legs high up on the wall. The fox scurried up the goat's back, grabbed hold of the goat's horns, and swung himself over the edge of the well. He then looked back down at the poor old goat at the bottom of the well. "Okay, now you reach in and help me out," reminded the goat. "I needed to escape too, of course." But the fox had no intention of helping the foolish goat, so he turned and began walking away. "You must help me. You promised that you would," screamed the goat. But the fox just turned around and, in a bored tone of voice, replied, "You should never have jumped into the well in the first place. You did not think about how you would get out before you threw yourself in. You must learn to look before you leap." And with that, the fox walked away. Page 104, The Fox and the Grapes. A fox was out on a summer day, walking through a grove of fruit trees, when he spotted a grapevine. "It is so hot out today, and I am quite thirsty," said the fox. "Those grapes would taste so good, with all the sweet juice oozing into my mouth." The grapevine, however, was quite high up, much higher than the fox could easily reach. "Those grapes are perfectly ripe, so they are worth a little effort," said the fox. He jumped up as high as he could, but did not even come close to reaching the grapes. He paused to figure out what to do. The fox decided to take a running jump from a distance, so he ran forward and jumped as high as he could. Again, he could not reach the grapes. "I know I can do this," said the fox to himself. "I will try one more time." The fox moved backward, ran toward the vine, and leaped upwards. But again, he was unsuccessful. The fox wanted the grapes badly, so he continued trying, but his attempts were unsuccessful. Looking at the grapes one last time, he said, "On second thought, those grapes do not look very fresh. I am sure they are sour," and he walked away. A bee who had witnessed the scene said, "It is easy to dislike the things we cannot have." 105, The Crow and the Pitcher. A thirsty crow was flying around one day when he spotted a pitcher of water below. "Oh, I hope that pitcher is full of water," the crow said. The crow flew down as quickly as he could, but when he reached the pitcher, he found that it was nearly empty. There was only a tiny bit of water at the very bottom. The crow poked his beak into the pitcher to try to slurp up the water, but his beak was not long enough. He looked at the water and wondered, "How can I get to that water with my beak?" At last, an idea came to him. The crow flew off, picked up a small rock in his beak, carried it back to the pitcher, and dropped it inside. He continued doing this over and over. It took a very long time, since the crow could only carry one pebble at a time. But finally, the pitcher was full of pebbles. The pebbles had caused the water level to rise, and the crow could now enjoy a much deserved drink of water. After taking a long drink, the crow thought about his hard work and his interesting, successful solution to the problem. "Necessity is the mother of invention," he said. 106. The Dove and the Ant. One day, a red ant was out walking by a river. He carefully approached the bank of the river to take a drink, but the water was moving much too fast for a tiny ant and washed him away. The ant was floating helplessly down the river when he was spotted by a dove flying overhead. The dove took pity on the tiny ant, thinking that he would never be able to get out of the river by himself. So the dove picked up a long branch and dropped it into the river, near the water's edge. The ant was able to climb onto the branch and walk across it to the shore. Once he got out of the river, the ant saw a man in the bushes. The man had his eyes trained on the dove and was preparing to shoot her. Just as the man was taking aim to shoot, the ant hurried over to him and bit him on the foot. The sting caused the man to miss his shot, and the dove flew to safety. "Little friends may prove to be great friends," said the happy dove. "That tiny ant has saved my life." We have now reached the conclusion of the story. You should return to your Google Classroom for further instruction. Bamapi.